Hey everybody, welcome back to the Show and Tell show. So we are back, and I know you're expecting to hear about the pretty dresses in our collection, but we had some technical difficulties last week that totally fall on my end. So we're going to have to redo that episode, but at the end, we did it. We all got together and talked about our beautiful dresses, but we didn't get to share it with all of our fans. So we're going to come back and redo that one so nobody misses out on some of the amazing things we have in our collection. Our challenge that was thrown out actually to us by Jan was Railway. So we're going to do Railway today, and we're going to come back tomorrow with some pretty dresses from the collection. But let's get on to Railway. And since you threw out that challenge, Jan, over at Penetanguishene,
Yes.
show us what you got.
Okay. So I'm just going to begin by showing you a picture. This is not our artifact, but it's just a picture of the Penetanguishene Railway Station. And you'll notice on the building that our town name has been abbreviated to just Penetang because there wasn't enough room on the building to accommodate the whole long name. So that's likely where people started just referring to us as Penetang. So the artifact that I have for us today is actually a little more clumsy than I thought it was going to be, so bear with me. It looks a whole lot smaller when it's on exhibit than on my desk. But anyway, so it's a lamp, and it's the only remaining artifact from the Penetanguishene Railway Station. And the Penetang line went from Penetanguishene to Allendale and then picked up from the city thereon. So on our big lamp here, there are a couple of holes here that we spotted on both sides. So we're assuming because of the circular formation and the fact that there's these holes, something else was mounted on here, likely advertising of some kind, but unfortunately we don't know what that would be. So the railway came to town in 1879, and initially it was the major mode of transportation for the mills. So the McGibbons, the Becks, and the Grops each had their own spur line going into their yards. It was very instrumental in the prospering of these mills, as well as other manufacturers who were popping up around town. We also had the Beatty Foundry and the Beck Box Factory and the Grew Boat Company that each had their own line as well, joining into the major line. However, shortly after that, it did become quickly a major route for the tourists to arrive to this area. We did have a lot of resorts and cottages, including our own Penetanguishene Hotel, that people would arrive on the train to stay at these various places. I thought it was a little interesting fact about the railway is that, of course, the engines were wood burning, and a lot of the line went through empty fields and through bush. And because of the wood burning engine, loose embers would often start bushfires. So that was a bit of a hazard when they were running through these areas. As well, cattle at first farmers were complaining because cows were being killed on the lines. So the railway company did install some just like snake rail fencing in these areas to keep the cattle from wandering on to the rails. So by the 1950s, the railway schedule had dwindled down to about 3 round trips per week instead of several per day, as the road became more and more popular with the completion of Highway 400. And by 1969, the line from Elmville to Penetanguishene was closed down. And by 1972, the CNR began to dismantle the rail lines. Of course, now we have these wonderful trails that we can ride your bike, walk through, whatever, where the old lines used to be. Yeah. But I think some people still miss the fact that you can't come from the city by train anymore. I think train is beginning to be revived a little bit. There is talk of adding more additional rails in this area. So I think it's missed.
Yeah, the whole idea of public transportation, because now we have I can't remember the name of it, Simcoe County has the bus routes now. So Midland to Barrie,
Yes.
you know, they're really, they're building out. And I know when they introduced the GO
Yeah.
train, you know, back, you know, from Allendale down to the city, like that is really well received. Lots of people use, I've
Yes.
used it instead of driving to the city. It's been
Yes.
awesome, right?
Oh, I think so too. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to, it's not just nice to see it, I think it's just better to see it too. Because I don't know, last time
I
you drove on
dare-
the 400, it's awful.
Yeah, I know. There isn't anything relaxing about that at all.
No,
No.
no.
And I myself would love to take the train out west and back. I think it'd
Oh.
be a fantastic trip.
Yeah, yeah. Train
Yeah.
travel, there's nothing like train travel because you're speedy, but there's no traffic and you're just absolutely taking in the landscape, right? It's
That's right.
yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
It's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, more trains, more trains. Let's have more trains. What do we have,
Yes.
Genevieve?
Yes.
All right, I've got something. You've probably all heard of the Canadian National Railway and the Canadian Pacific Railway, perhaps even the GTR, but have you heard of the Midland Terminal Railway? Probably not. The Midland Terminal Railway was actually just a spur line that ran from, I've got a map here of Midland. It ran from over here. This is really crummy, sorry. From the Canada Iron Furnace Company's property across Midland Bay. The downtown area is right here. Oh, here, sorry. This is King Street right here, down there. But the so this line ran around the bay, past the elevator, and then over to the harbor. And it was formed by the Midland, the Canada Iron Furnace Company. Here are some images of their plant on the other side of Midland Bay. This came to town in 1900 and they formed the Midland Terminal Railway in 1903. And I was really excited to find this a few months ago when I was going through all those legal documents that I've been trotting out once in a while. The specifications for the switching locomotive, and we've got a photograph there. We do have a few copies of photographs in the collection of the a different switcher in use, pulling a cart of slag, but this is the only photograph I've ever seen of the locomotive itself. I was just so excited to find it. Eventually the Midland Terminal Railway was, I guess, incorporated into the Midland Simcoe Railway, and that's got a whole other history I won't go into, but yeah, there we go, the Midland Terminal Railway. There's not a lot of information on it, so anyway, it's hard to look up. If
So
you decide to Google it later on.
The iron company you're speaking of, is that it was located where the new subdivision is?
Yeah.
Along Sunnyside?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I think, yeah, for a long time, one of the original buildings was being used as the sales center. So I don't know whether it's still there now they're putting in the other side or not. I haven't noticed in a while.
I don't know. I was actually going to go over there and check it out. Yeah, the family, the Drummond family, they had other smelters in Ontario and Quebec, and they decided to open this one here in Midland. And then they built further up the hill. They built the Georgian Lodge, their house, which stood, I think, until 1982 or 1981 when it burned down. But the wall. Yeah, the stone wall is still there.
The Drummond Wall, yeah.
Yeah. Wall, yeah. Which is a heritage site, the Drummond Wall now.
It is.
Yeah.
That's right. I don't know if the chimney still stood. I know when my family moved here in 1981, and I remember driving by on the way to Midland, and you can see the chimney in the in the forest, in the clearing in the forest, but gradually the forest has grown in.
Ah.
So I don't know if the chimney is still standing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Me neither.
And we have a museum town plaque there where you can go and read about it and scan with your phone. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's one of the sites we did was the Drummond Wall.
Oh,
Speaking of like traveling around, I think that's our challenge for next week, because we've had this subject come up and I think it's a confusing thing. I know it is for me when I do like administrative stuff for the museum. It's like, what do you do? Well, actually, we're here to preserve heritage. You know, that's our main job. We're here to save the old things, but we can't do that without tourism. So let's do the subject of tourism, because I think we probably have some pretty neat tourism related things in our collection.
Yes.
Things that no longer exist. So let's throw that out as a challenge. Tourism
Good one.
for Simcoe for next week. How about that?
sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we will be back next week with tourism, and we're coming back tomorrow to catch up on the dresses, because we brought out some fabulous dresses and had some fabulous discussions and saw some neat things, and we don't want our fan base to miss out. Okay, so we'll see everybody next week or tomorrow if you find us with our dresses. See ya.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.